There is another wrinkle to this A's relocation that I had forgotten about, even though I wrote the story at PFT less than 2 months ago. Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, is not in favor of the A's moving to Las Vegas. Now, look, at a very basic business level, you don't want your market to get crowded with other pro sports teams, even though you'll support the other pro sports teams. You're all competing for the same dollars and the same eyeballs and the same loyalty. And I've said that before, and Sims gets mad at me. It's like, do you really think like the Patriots support the Red Sox and the Celtics the way they act like they do, or do they want to be the top dogs in Boston? And it's true of any market with multiple teams. I think at a certain level, each team wants to be the king, and then they'll support the other teams in town. Well, Mark Davis has no desire to support the A's, and not because of competition, but because of what happened in Oakland. Here's just a little what he said back on we wrote the story on April 20th, so it was probably 19th or 20th. I won't forget what they did to us in Oakland, he said of the A's. They squatted on a lease for 10 years and made it impossible for us to build on that stadium. They were looking for a stadium. We were looking for a stadium. They didn't want to build a stadium, and then they went ahead and signed a 10-year lease with the city of Oakland and said, we're the base team at the crap hole Coliseum that they shared. They marketed their team as rooted in Oakland. That's been their mantra through this whole thing. The slogans they've been using have been a slap in the face to the Raiders, and they were trying to win over that type of mentality in the Bay Area. Well, all they did was F-K, the Bay Area. That was Mark Davis 2 months ago. So, welcome to Las Vegas. The Welcome to Las Vegas sign. Mark Davis is going to go back there with a can of spray paint, and he's going to put at the bottom, accept the A's.
Yeah, well, but that was kind of what I was alluding to earlier when we were talking about the A's situation and how they prevented the Raiders from really getting something done there. And they did. They had that entire Rooted in Oakland campaign, and it's we're going to stay here because the Raiders left. Oh, and then the Golden State Warriors went across the bay to San Francisco, and they have the Chase Arena instead of playing in Oracle. So it was, oh, man, we are rooted here. We're going to be here. We're going to stay here and blah, blah, blah. So I understand why Mark Davis would be upset with that particular ownership group for the Oakland Athletics and maybe perhaps soon to be Las Vegas Athletics, right? That is going to be a very interesting dynamic if and when that actually does come to fruition, that the A's are in Las Vegas and sharing that sharing a media market, I should say. They're not going to share the same stadium, but they're going to share basically, territory. And Las Vegas isn't even that big. It's interesting that all these teams are, flocking to one of the not bigger media markets in the United States, especially when you're abandoning one of the bigger media markets in the United States for that. I like Las Vegas. I think Las Vegas is a very fun town. The more sports in Las Vegas, I think, kind of the better. But it is one of these interesting elements to me where, you leave the Bay Area, that's where you go. And I understand why it's personal for Mark Davis in this situation. I really do.
Well, it's become this entertainment capital, and part of the entertainment then is to have football, baseball, hockey. It feels inevitable they're going to have an NBA team there. Feels inevitable, and it's all because of this shift in acceptance of gambling. The stigma is gone because now all these other states have it. It makes it easier for sports teams and leagues to embrace Las Vegas as long as the players don't go into the casino while they're in Las Vegas. We'll be talking about that later in the program. So, look, the bottom line is Manfred made a fool out of himself yesterday, and he's being roundly criticized by everyone. And as you said, he's doing the bidding of his overlords on one hand, but on the other hand, he didn't do it very well. This is why Roger Goodell makes whatever he makes. We don't know what he makes now because the NFL is no longer a tax-exempt trade organization where they have to publish the compensation given to the top executives. It's north of 60. Maybe it's as much as 80. Who the hell knows? He's in the process of getting a new contract. You've got some folks like Jerry Jones who think they're paying too much and he's pinching pennies and he'd like to pay less, but he isn't even trying to stop this from happening. But one of the reasons Commissioner Goodell gets what he gets, he's very adept in those settings of stick handling his way through a tough question, not saying a damn thing, and then waiting for the next question. And in that setting, you're not going to get an aggressive follow-up. Sir, you did not answer my question. Sir, I'm prepared to sit here until hell freezes over until you answer my question. That doesn't happen in a press conference. They hurry the microphone to the next person who moves on, typically to the next topic. Although they did have Goodell on the run within the past year or two on something with Daniel Snyder, I think it was, where they kept on him and kept on him and kept on him. That rarely happens. All he's got to do is just word salad, say nothing, wait, and then do the same thing with the next question. He would have never said what he said. If he was asked a question like what Rob Manfred was asked yesterday, it would have been something along the lines of, everybody tried, everybody worked in good faith, and sometimes we reach solutions and sometimes we don't. And it's unfortunate that it's come to this, but this is the business decision that has been made. He wouldn't even go that far. It would be something innocuous. It would be something meaningless. It would be something pointless. And nobody would be saying today, my God, what a horrible performance that was. He not only said something he shouldn't have said, he also told a lie while saying the thing he never should have said.
It's incredible how much messaging matters, right? And, I think we saw that this week with Sean McDermott and Stephon Diggs and the Bills and whatever happened there, right? So I think if you look at these particular situations and how the different commissioners handle them, it tells you a lot about what they're best at. And it's very clear that Rob Manfred is not best at messaging, and messaging is such a huge part of the job. It makes me wonder, like, what the hell is going on there? But I guess that's baseball.
Well, and the thing is, the appetite for information and access and the press conferences, the number of press conferences Roger Goodell does. I remember back during the Ray Rice thing, he said that he's available to the media every day, something that was not true. That and see the rare moments that he says something that isn't true stand out because he rarely puts himself in that position where he says something that is objectively and undeniably false. He's not available to the media every single day, but he is available at least 5 times a year. After every ownership meeting, he's available, and before the Super Bowl, he's available. 5 times a year, sometimes more than that. If there's other occasions that come up or special meeting like what we're going to have next month or early August for the vote on the Commanders, he'll speak at the end of that. So he does it more often, and he is very good at it. And I think the more you have to operate on that high wire, the easier it is to slip back into high wire mode and not say something that's going to get you roundly criticized and make you the topic of hell, when on earth would we ever have showcased the comments of the commissioner of any other sport at the top of an edition of PFT Live? Now, look, pickings are slim right now, but even with that, we've started the show. We could have talked about DeAndre Hopkins, and we will. We could have talked about something else, and we will. But we're talking about this because it really, I don't want to be, the guy that busts the bubble, but I think anybody that's got a true zeal for the National Football League shouldn't kid themselves about what it really is. It's okay. It's like when I found out wrestling was fake or scripted. It's not fake. The physicality is not fake, except when they pretend to punch someone in the face and stomp their foot to distract the attention and supply the sound effect. And you got, a generation of kids thinking that's how men fight, and then you go get your ass kicked because you try to punch somebody and stomp your foot while you punch and stop short. Anyway, when I found out wrestling was fake, I still enjoyed it. It's okay to find out the NFL is a business that is premised on making as much money as possible and still enjoy it. Just understand this is part of the thing that you love. This is the underbelly. The reality that they are trying to make as much money as possible, and football is family is not what they mean. They mean football is business, but it's good for business to say football is family. That's what they mean.
Did you once try to punch somebody and stomp your foot at the same time and get your ass kicked? No. You sure?
No, I figured out that didn't work. No, I didn't. I told the story one day in the not too distant past, and you weren't watching that day, of the only fight I ever had in my life. And I won't bore.
I think you told it when I was on the show,
details.
Actually. So, yeah.
Oh, well then, now you go. So now you forget. That's my only fight. It all started because someone dared to spit on my prized possession, the Vikings jacket that I got from my grandparents when I was 10 years old. He spat on my jacket. So we rumbled. One punch, he went down, I went down. I'm going to tell my dad, he said as he ran away, and that was the end of it. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.